Good evening, everyone. Thank you for being here. Today's meeting number 479. Happy to see some old faces. Ria, thanks for joining. Really excited to see you. And then Deepa is joining online today. Just some ground rules. Silence your cell phones and mobile devices. And if you have to get up, do so quietly without disturbing the speakers. And I just wanted to ask anyone if they have a success story, something that they learned from Toastmasters and used in their personal or professional lives, where they feel like, Toastmasters made an impact. So it could be 1 or 2 minutes. Yeah. All right, thanks.
All right. There, thank you, Mr. Sergeant Mars. Appreciate that. So I know I'm going to be the Toastmaster tonight, but I had a really good experience last week. I flew out to Denver for an onsite at Charles Schwab, our headquarters. It was the first time that I met with my team in person, and there had been recently a lot of changes with leadership and who we report under. And we had a big agenda over a 3-day period where we're going to do some working sessions and sit around a big round table and discuss the projects that we're going to focus on for end of this year and next year. So there was an opportunity, someone had bowed out to do an exercise. The exercise was to, what should we keep doing? What should we start doing differently? Or what should we stop doing, right? Related to how we work as a business organization. And I was a little apprehensive at first, but I said, yeah, I'll step in. Let's do this. It's going to be fun. I started thinking like a Toastmaster. I started to research a little bit about what the flow of that session would be. It was a 1-hour session, and I knew that all eyes would be on me as the moderator. So, we were in that day. Lunch occurred. We had an icebreaker. It was a lot of fun. And they said, all right, Chris, you're up. So I got up. I was ready. I was poised. And most of the other sessions, it got a little crazy. Like people were kind of talking a little too much or just taking too much time. And I was able to really just kind of make sure it was a clear focus on what we were trying to do. I intentionally gave everyone 7 minutes to come up with their own thoughts about what they would keep, stop, or start. And then I said, let's go. And I had someone that was co-hosting with me, and they had some whiteboards, and we were jotting down all the ideas. And it was really nice because it was just like being a table topics master, because you were kind of filling in what they were saying and expanding on it as you were going into the next speaker. And I felt really prepared for it. Also, we were able to call on people like, when, what do you think? Tom, what do you got next? Right? And we were just going through boom, 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 boom. And we were so proud that by the end, it was the only session that ended right on time on the hour. And so it was a combination of all the prep we've been doing as Toastmasters, being the Toastmaster, being the table topics master, all came together. I had a new leader for my level and 2 levels up. And we went to Topgolf later for a social event to have some drinks. And my new leader came over and said, hey, Chris, I want to let you know that session that you held, it was an amazing thing to watch. You looked really comfortable. You're a great speaker. And I said, hey, little secret, we've been doing Toastmasters for the past 5 years. So, with effort and practice and consistency, all of the people on our team need to have that level and that comfort with public speaking, but they can be there too. They said, all right, great job. So wanted to share, thank you, Toastmasters. Thank you for having a supportive group and environment where we could do that together. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Chris. I think we have 3 speeches.
Yes.
Chris, thank you for very encouraging. I truly believe that, just us showing up here every meeting and just doing this little roles and practice just makes us more comfortable to say yes at work and in personal situations. So that's a great story. Thank you. All right, so we'll move on with our next item. I'll introduce our president, Alexei.
So I've been traveling a little bit and skipped the last meeting. So everybody's welcome, especially online and present here physically. When, congrats. Thank you for joining us, and hope you will find it useful. Welcome you as a guest.
Yes.
Guest.
Yes, Christina, nice meeting you.
Christina. You're Christina. I try to feel like Scott,
Yes.
if I'm right on the wrong.
Yes.
Maybe just a few words about yourself, what you're looking for. You're welcome.
Sure.
What will be your first try with public speaking here?
I think this is my second time joining the Toastmaster. Yes, the first time was online. I figured I should join you guys in person, see what it's like. Super excited to be here. I really enjoyed my first session, which is the reason why I decided to come in person and see for myself, which is much better than online. So yeah, really glad to be here, and looking forward to many more sessions with you guys. Thank you. Yeah.
Thank you, Christina, and welcome. So let's start the meeting and pass the word to Toastmaster, please.
All right. All right, thank you, President Alexei, appreciate that. All right, so we do have a packed agenda tonight. I was really impressed when I went on Trello and every role was filled. So thank you for doing that. Wen reached out to us and said, I'm ready to do my icebreaker tonight as well. So she's our impromptu speaker 3. So let's get right to it. Melissa and Ray, they were caught up in traffic, so they are coming in right now. No worries. You just made it right in the nick of time. Good to see you, Melissa and Ray. Yeah. All right, good to see you. Good to see you. Yeah. Good to be here. Good to be home. All right, so we are going to do 3 speeches. Maria will be our speaker 1, and she will be doing Start Wearing Purple, and she is wearing purple tonight, so thank you for doing that. Sung Hua will be doing speech 2. Sung Hua, as always, he shares humor and life lessons and wisdom, so I can't wait to hear more about that. The speech title is How Can the Sheep and the Lion Dance Together? Interesting. He said, he's trying to say, well, how do I say this in English? But he's like, this is basically what it is. So we're really excited about it. Arun, good to see you too. Speech 3, Wen, her icebreaker. So we met the first time, I think, when we were doing speeches in the Los Gatos Park behind the library. So welcome back. And we're happy to see your face live and to hear your speech. Table topics, VJ, you're going to be doing table topics for us. And maybe come up here real quick. You're going to do something a little different than we typically do. And we want to make sure it's a good thing for everybody. So VJ, come on up here. Give him a round of applause. What's the different tweak you're going to do in the format tonight for table topics?
Thank you, Chris. So usually what we do is we have volunteer first and then we ask question. This time I'm thinking maybe I'll read the question first and then let people volunteer. So today's topic is something that we can learn from each other's experience. So I want people to reflect on the question, and if they have a good story, just volunteer and share.
All right, perfect. All right, thank you, VJ. Appreciate that. Thanks for stepping up. Yeah, we usually put people on the spot with the impromptu speaking, but tonight we'll have a little time to all of us to think about how we would respond, and hopefully we'll volunteer. And if not, VJ will have to pick someone to come up here and show your stuff. It'll be fun. Speech evaluators by Melissa and Tom, and I believe I'm going to write some notes down for Wen as an impromptu evaluator. Our functionaries timer, Ryan, please come on up here, talk about the timing that is very important for our speakers.
Guys, tonight I'll be your timer. And so in timer role, I'll be timing everyone's speeches and reporting back. Thank you for my props. And reporting back at the end of the meeting how everyone did in their speech times. Depending on the speech, there's different time lengths. So for the normal speeches, 5 to 7 minutes. For the table topics, 1 to 2 minutes. And I will, when you reach the first specified time, so at 5 minutes for a speech, I'll give you the green so that you know you're good to go. When you get to 6 minutes, I'll give you yellow, letting you know you're halfway up with that golden zone. And then we hit 7 minutes, so I'll give you a red to let you know to wrap it up so we can continue off the meeting. And I'll report back how everyone did at the end. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you, Ryan. Appreciate that. Ray, our awe counter in the nick of time. Ray, come on up here, please. Ray.
Good evening, everyone. I'll be the all counter tonight. I'll be looking for words such as us, ums, and us, you knows, words that we overuse daily. And I don't have the sheet in front of me, but I think that's it, right?
Yeah, pretty much, yeah.
Yeah, so anybody that goes over 5 times, I'll just say 5+. So I'm glad to see the nice turnout tonight.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Rick. That's good to be here in person, or virtual, but in person's nice. You get a good feel. And you get to look in the eyes of all the people here and kind of get over those uncomfortable feelings you may have. But then we use technology and we have the recording that we have on Zoom, which is really insightful to hear your voice, your tone, your body language, your eye contact. And we only share that link to that recording with our members. It's not public, so it's going to be done in confidence and allow you to see how you look and how the audience perceives you. Grammarian with the word of the day, Shirag.
So as a grammarian, I'll be looking for proper use of grammar, interesting phrases, pauses, and just overall good use of the language. The word of the day is denigrate, and what it means is to denigrate someone is to criticize them heavily and often unfairly. Denigrate can also mean to make something seem less important or valuable. An example, her essay denigrates her mentor as a person and as a teacher. So try to use that word as much as you can. So thank you.
Thank you. Rob? Certainly no denigration here. I think that sometimes we do that to ourselves in our own minds, but you won't get that here. It's going to be love and support, and you're going to have good feelings around public speaking. And then when you go out in the real world and exercise and practice, it's going to be a whole different ballgame. All right, a general evaluator, Arun. Arun.
So as a general evaluator, I'd be looking at how our overall Toastmaster meeting is going in terms of how we adhere to structure and the time management. Today we have a packed agenda, so I'll be keeping a watch out for how we do in terms of time. And I'll also report back on what are the things that we can improve upon and potentially what are the good things that we followed today as well. Thanks.
Thank you,
all
Arun.
the-
Appreciate it. Arun's one of our newer members, and he's works for a large tech company, and he says that what he's been doing here has really helped in team meetings and speaking, to team members or to leadership. So good job with that and the consistency. Okay, so for the sake of time, we'll get right into the most exciting moment, hearing speeches from our members. Let's welcome Maria, our past president, up to do Start Wearing Purple. Maria. Lots of purple.
I put everything purple that I had in house. Good evening, dear Toastmasters and guests. My name is Maria Kovaleva. I'm a parenting coach, and today I will present my speech on level 5 of pathways and in preparation for our next week panel discussion. And today is a regular speech, 7 minutes. And Melissa, you asked what to look for. I would say structure, clarity, and impact. We can we can begin. Start wearing purple. This is a phrase from a song by music band Gogol Bardella, and there is nothing in common between the song and my speech, except the color purple and maybe the freedom, the vibes of freedom that I feel from the performances of this group, a musical band. I was really lucky to be a high school student in Russia in 90s. Why? It was really turbulent time, very difficult times for Russia and for my parents living in that time. But for me, it was very exciting time and the beginning of kind of alchemy with the world. I don't know how to explain, but it was very confusing and open-minded time. In school, my history teacher decided that we will learn history of 20th century reading two books, textbooks, twice as much reading for us. Yet it was a good exercise to take the opposite views that time and make them together, bring them together in synthesis. And for me, it was a good opportunity to see that, yeah, there are facts, but how we look at them, they may change the history. And what we see today, 2 weeks ago, we had so much pressure, so many questions, red or blue, right or left, right or wrong, white or black. There was a lot of internal pressure to choose one side. Why we have this internal pressure? That's the question I want to examine today, explore. And why wearing purple sometimes make feel like something forbidden. To start, I want to explore this question from 3 points, which I believe we may come to some understanding why we have this internal pressure. First, it's a political division system in the society. Second, childhood roots. And the third is generational impact. So let's start with the first one. Political system is based on division. The society is based on division. And 2 weeks ago, we could see that neighbors turned opponents for the election. Also, social media is fed and operates on division. The more division, the more conflict, the more engagement, the more time online. So it's also in the system. Also, there is a psychological need to be with someone, to belong to a group. It's safer. There is illusion of security when we are with us, not with them, because them, for some reason, are different and might be dangerous. That's all these things are in the system, and they are not always conscious that we can get, like we are not conscious of them. Second, childhood roots. I don't know how about you, but I was asked this question. Who do you love more, me or your father? And it was very unfair question to a child, right? So dependable on adults. But still, there was, in my childhood, there was a pressure to choose one side or another. Again, school playground, we have teams. Yeah, team spirit is good, but we never go beyond that and see what's between the teams. That's division, that's the conflict, and we are learning it. What else? In childhood, we have also this natural tendency to be accepted, to belong to a group. And all this black and white thinking develops as a mechanism for survival in childhood. Third point is generational impact. The history in this country is based on two parties. So from the middle of 19th century, there's two parties. And people here are learning that there's two choices. We are learning that to choose one of two, that's it. There are accidental independent candidates who have zero chances to win, just to perform, I guess, for the elections. Then we have grandparents and parents who come from previous generations, transfer their political identity in the family. And it's safer, especially for the Thanksgiving dinner, to be on the one side of the two, right? Or to keep calm, to avoid conflicts, to save peace for the moment. And so we can see how those 3 points already open up why we might feel this internal pressure within us. And wearing purple or gray or being centered, it's not about being indecisive. Rather, it's about courage to see complexity. It's about creating a space for different perspectives. And it's about breaking the generational trauma of binary thinking. And next time, when you feel the pressure to choose, please remember the purple star that shines and it gives you the opportunity to choose the position that might be the most powerful to enjoy and embrace the complexity of human experience. Thank you.
Profound. I'm often surprised when I come to Toastmasters with interesting perspectives and ideas, different time periods and cultures and things that we have unconsciously in the back of our mind, like thinking in a binary way versus it's not, it doesn't have to be that way, or it's a false construct. So very interesting. You did that tactfully without choosing one side or the other. I think that was the point. And when you, the color purple, eventually it made sense because it's blue and red mixed together, right? So very interesting. For those of us that are here, please maybe pass down a QR code, scan the QR code. Let's give Maria some feedback over the next 2 minutes. We're going to have a formal evaluation. But that was quite interesting. This is another benefit of being in the club. We post this to Trello, and you'll see anonymous notes under your card for your speaking slot. We're going to wrap up our notes and feedback for Maria. And I just want to say, once again, compliment that you had no notes. You expressed some very complex ideas. You had many things that you put into the condensed time that you had. You looked very comfortable. And it reminds me of the article that I sent out this week about not focusing so much on your performance, but focusing on your words and the meaning behind them. And I think you really captivated us with your ideas tonight. So I'm not giving in your evaluation, but that's my feedback for you. All right, our speaker number 2, Seonghwa, the wise Seonghwa. Please come on up. We're looking forward to your speech, sir. Thank you.
Good evening, Toastmaster member and guests. Thank you for having been here. May I ask a question? When, what conditions, which situation, the line and ship can dance together? play together, have fun. Many people think it is impossible. The lion and the sheep play together, dance together, because the lion will eat the sheep. Do you agree that? Let a white sheep and give another answer. When the lion came, I hide in the middle, watching the lion chasing other animal. After the lion had eaten more animal and some beef had been left, I go out of the middle and play with the lion. Because the lion is this time, she is full. She doesn't want to eat anything. And the lion always lonely because he is the king in the forest. Animal in the forest will afraid they become the lion's food apart from we. So the lion play with the sheep play with the lion was very happy. So he think the sheep is his friend. Do you agree that? The animal in forest is lucky because the lion has not storage technology. We can imagine that if the lion had storage technology or storage space, the white sheep would have killed and been put in the refrigerator in the warehouse. The lion will kill all of the animal he meet and put them in the refrigerator as his food and his next generation food in the future. This is a death scenes in the forest. But these things has been happening in the human society. With the storage, the people can occupy more resource than they need, especially the money use. The storage technology attains a high level because the money represents everything. Having money is a symbol of successful man. So, and the people consumption has changing. The psychological necessity consumption more than biological necessity compensation. The biological necessity has some limitation. For example, despite the man have a lot of money, he just have 2 or 3 meals a day, a king size bed at night. But the psychology necessity is unlimited. For example, a woman, she has many clothes filled with several carpets. She always want to like a new suitable one. She never think she has enough clothes for her. This lead to a few people, they occupy so many resources, then they don't need. And majority of people, they lack the basic resource for their surviving. So if this question couldn't be solved smoothly, the world never safe. It's time for the people to think about it and find a way to solve these problems now. Thank you, everyone.
Other brain tease. Thank you, Sunghua. Very interesting. And I know you agree with me that the different roles and the stereotypes that we talked about can be interchangeable with maybe I have too many clothes or maybe she's making too much money. So certainly want to call that out for everyone here. But I think the idea that it's very clever that the sheep would wait until the lion is fully fed to come up. And then the whole complexity of it actually being lonely because it has so much or it's so successful that it scares everyone else away. Kind of reminds me of maybe like a chief executive officer, right? They want to be close with their team members, but it's also an intimidating thing for their employees to come up and bring up problems and issues and have an actual conversation with them. And they can actually become siloed and only have yes people around them too. And not people giving them different perspectives that would be useful. So that's an angle. And then the whole idea of a consumption mentality. I mean, we all think like, oh, we have this and that, and if I get this, it'll make me happy. And then we get it, and a month later or 2 months later, we go, oh, I don't know, I'm not really happy with that anymore. Maybe I want something different or something else. But to go back to what really makes us happy and what do we truly need biologically and how can we be happy inside? Maybe it's sleep. Maybe it's meditation. Maybe it's eating better. Maybe it's more quality time with your children and putting down our phones. So really interesting. Thank you for sharing tonight. I haven't heard that before. Okay, so let's give Sunghua some feedback, please, over the next 1 to 2 minutes. Great job with the prompted questions, the orchestration of your presentation. It was very structured. And the way you wrapped it up with the call to action. Very nice. Okay, we're going to wrap up those comments. And at this time, we have an exciting moment to support and appreciate one of our newest members, Wen, on her icebreaker. Get to know a little bit more about her and hear her perspective. So let's give it up for Wen, please.
It was a nice summer evening. The wind is breezy. The air smells like watermelon, refreshing and sweet. I was at my 7th grade. no schoolwork, summer break. We gathered as a family in the living room watching Olympic Games. It just felt perfect that evening until it didn't. That night, China's volleyball team is playing final with Australia team. And patriotism just filled in me. My eyes was glued to the TV. I was desperate for our team to win. But about 2/3 to the game, we were trailing by 1 set. And my heart raced, my hands clenched. Every time the ball flew over the air, I hold my breath and I'm so scared that we are going to lose 1 more point. And every missed point felt like a personal disaster, to the point that I couldn't watch it anymore. And I run back to my bedroom. Because in my mind, we're probably already going to lose and I don't want to see us fail. But 15 minutes later, I heard several rows of cheering from the living room. It turned out China team has turned over the game and win the champion. The sad part is I missed all the exciting part. That night wasn't about volleyball game. That night was about my approach to life. I was always so fascinated, fixated on the results that I missed the enjoyment of the journey. My obsession with this result doesn't stop there. I study really hard, not because I enjoy learning or I'm passionate about the subject. It's all about need to get good score and get into a good college. And then after college, my next goal is good graduate school and a good career. And then check all the boxes to climb that career ladder. But that mindset didn't make me happy. It actually trapped me. I have so little compassion about myself. I criticize myself. I denigrate myself. Just even a little mistake, it feels a big disaster. And it further debilitates myself to focus on doing the meaningful and productive things. There was one night that downward spiral came again. I felt myself helpless, useless, just because I made some mistake during a speech, during a presentation that morning in the work. And then an epiphany came to me. I was asking myself, hey, like Grace, why can you just enjoy the moment? Why can't you, when you are reading a book, do not think about it can bring you the knowledge to your goal, but just think about connecting to the author, connecting to the world he creates, and just enjoy that. When you are doing exercise, do not just focusing on the number going down on your scale, but experience the flexibility when you are doing yoga poses. Experience the energy you exert, the strength when you're doing push-ups. As work, why can't you just enjoy solving problems, thinking this as a game and bringing people together? It's going to be a lot of fun. That change of mindset liberates me. Now, every time I get anxious, I ask myself, what's the most rewarding part of this activity or experience itself? How can you savor this moment? So I would recommend everyone think about things this way, whether it's your career, your financial goals, your kids' education, relationship. Think about what's the interesting part and what you are passionate about the process itself instead of the end goal. Because if life is a game and all we care about is the end score, then did we play at all?
Get my feedback. What an icebreaker. Broke the ice tonight. That was amazing. Good job, really. We could all relate to each one of those speeches, especially that one. Some good insights. So let's give Wen some feedback on her speech, what she did well, what she could do more of to improve it. But overall, very nice speech, very nice presentation and content. Wrap up our comments for when. Before we start, Ria, great to see you again virtually. Maybe take yourself off mute and let us know what prompted the visit tonight and briefly what you've been up to.
Thank you, Chris. Hi, everyone. It's so great to see you guys. I miss you guys. Yes, lately I've been busy, been travel, did lead my another trip, retreat in Tibet, then doing different retreats. So I missed to come back. I would like to come back to join you guys again as things getting a little bit slow down. So
Oh.
I just want to check in with you guys first.
Welcome back, Ria.
Thank you. Thank you, Chris.
Ria had been with us for some time and was one of our officers for a couple different terms, and you went to Tibet before, and then that was the beginning of your life-changing kind of moments that you discussed in your speeches, and now you went back. So can't wait to hear part 2. It'll be exciting.
Thank you. Thank you. That's it's already been 5 times. Next year will be 6 times. We'll be doing that each year. Start.
Good for you. All
Thank
right,
you.
VJ, you have the stage, sir. You're going to help us and walk us through 3 to 4 speakers, 1 to 2 minutes each for our table topics today. So have fun with that. Find the joy.
Thank you, Chris. I'm going to use notes. When we are faced with challenges, instead of letting the situation feel us denigrated, we can face the challenge. More often than not, it requires a mindset change. And it's interesting that I picked this topic. I did not know the speeches, and they're all about mindset. Mindset change. Swangua, your story, great story. You are also encouraging us to change our mindset about what we want to accumulate, how we want to live our life. And Maria, same thing. Red, blue, change your mindset. Look at the complexity, accept the complexity, and work with that. So it just worked out together, because that's what I was thinking today. What if everything is connected, speeches and table topics, so our minds can absorb more? If it is the same topic, same area, we learn more about it. So it just worked out. So here are 3 effective ways to shift our mindset. Number 1 is, when you are faced with the challenge, reframe the situation, just getting a different perspective. Second one is, challenge your assumptions or biases that you might have. And third is adopt a growth mindset. More often than not, you want to learn, you want to grow yourself. So let's explore how mindset changes have impacted us all. I have 8 questions. So since I'm reading questions first and then asking for volunteers, I'm going to do random and pick odd number questions. And if more required, then I'll go for even. So question number 1. Think of a time when you faced a setback. How did reframing the situation help you overcome it? Take 10 seconds, think about it, and volunteer if you have something to share. I'll repeat. Think of a time when you faced a setback. How did reframing the situation help you overcome it? If not, I'll probably pick someone. Please. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, Kyle. So I'll talk briefly about the time when I joined a new company, and I got to meet all my coworkers, and I was placed in an office with one of the coworkers who had lots of experience in his field. I was relatively junior person back then, and I didn't have much experience. I'm a woman, so he had some stereotypes about me. And when I tried to work with him, it was challenging because of things he assumed that I don't know. And sometimes he felt not enough energized to walk me through things. I felt challenging as well because I had to advance, I had to work on my project and to overcome this situation. Then I was thinking, okay, when I approached this from the professional perspective, we did not find that same ground. We did not find the common language. How can I reframe that? How can I look at that from another perspective? And then it occurred to me that I come to office much earlier. And when I come to the office, it was back in the days when people went actually to offices. Yeah. In the kitchenette, we had all these sweet bakery items. And when he was coming to the office, they were gone. So I used the technique that just what doesn't work professionally would work with food. I was bringing him something sweet from the office and put it on his table in the morning. And when he arrives later that day, he finds that his sweet treat waiting for him. In a week, he suddenly opened up. He started sharing. He felt like I'm his best friend. I knew everything in the office. I was up to speed so fast that I was really, really shocked by how this reframing helped me out. Thank you.
What a great story, Natalie. Thank you for sharing. I think we can all learn from that.
You can all write down the name for Natalie and everyone else who participates tonight, because we're gonna vote on the one that resonated the most with us.
That's true. That's true. All right, next question. Question is, sometimes stepping out of comfort zone is necessary for a mindset shift. When have you had to do this, and what did you learn? While you think, I'll repeat. Sometimes stepping out of our comfort zone is necessary for a mind shift. When have you had to do this, and what did you learn? Stepping out of comfort zone. And it could be Ria too. You're online. You can volunteer too if you want.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, I would like to answer this one. Step out of the comfort room, I think, is can be really frightening. Many times, sometimes I don't feel comfortable. I don't want to do it. There always some fear, anxiety behind that. But one thing I know, I always just say, anyway, do it. As I do it, when I pass that comfort room and look back what I did, I will feel so much empowerment. And the fear never bigger than what I was imagined. So I really encourage everyone, if you have that situation, take step forward, take out your comfort room. That always make you more proud. Thank you.
Thank you, Ria. One more? All right. I'll skip number 5. So it was 1, 3, 5, and now I'll ask 7. How has letting go of control or surrendering to the situation helped you change your mindset and move forward? Think about it while I repeat. How has letting go of control or surrendering to the situation helped you change your mindset and move forward? Please.
No. Yeah, well, to be honest, I think that first you should change your mindset and then you can let go. And I remember when my older daughter was 12, it was very difficult time. And I was so sure that she couldn't do well in school without me pushing her or reminding her what to do, like micromanagement. And it was very emotionally charged time and a lot of conflicts. And then, okay, I read a book. I read a book about teenage girls. I was so devastated. I didn't know what to do. And I just tried, like I stepped away from comfort zone of knowing, of controlling and let it go. It took 1 year for her to pick up, and she's a student then in 1 year, doing her own thing by herself, and me having a enjoyable parenting life. So I guess it's a shift of the mindset first, and then letting go of the situation and creating trust in development of the situation. Yep.
Thank you. And back to our Toastmaster.
Right,
Chris?
DJ, great job tonight. Everyone talking and thinking. Even if we didn't come up here and speak publicly, we knew probably what we wanted to say.
Yeah.
And the gears were turning. So thank you. That's a good way of doing it. Maybe we'll do that more often. Pre-present the prompts. So let's vote for Natalie, Ria, or Maria. Not who's the best, but who I would say resonated most with you as a speaker. All right. It's time for our first evaluator. Melissa will come up and give a nice evaluation for Maria. Give it up for Melissa, please.
Hi, everybody. I'm Melissa. It's good to be here. It's nice to hear another one of Maria's speeches. It's fun to have watched probably what I think was the beginning until now, just how much you've grown and how comfortable you are up here. It's inspiring. So to start, even before you began, when you introduced yourself, I like how you added, you just said, I'm a parenting consultant. You really owned it. And I liked how it's like part of who you are, something that you really care about. And it came through just in that beginning, how you introduced yourself. So you had asked to look at structure, clarity, and impact. So if I started with structure, it was really clear. You had a great story to begin with. You had your 3 points, kind of like your body pieces that talked about your main topic, which was how polarizing it can be when we choose left or right, or blue or red thinking. Thirdly, your closing was strong. You talked about how the generational impact is so great for all of us when we submit to the binary thinking. And I think if I look at clarity, everything was really clear. You explained everything really well. It's all topics that we're all pretty familiar with. And again, like Chris mentioned, it's a heavy topic, but you handled it with care. As we know, it's a very denigrating subject when we choose left or right. So you handled that really tactfully. And of course, the impact of that is really great as well, because we're talking about something that makes and breaks relationships and causes huge rifts in really like any sort of lens you look through. So that being said, if I went back to structure, I think if I had to choose one thing to maybe work on, I would say your beginning story, it was a really good story because you talked about having the teacher give you both perspectives with the textbooks. Like that was really strong. But I almost thought it would be even stronger if that part was in your conclusion. And your intro was a story about a time when you maybe personally experienced the polarizing feeling of having to, kind of like what you did with the parenting, when the parent was like, do you love me more or this one more? Like that was a really good story to add. And even if there was another one at the very beginning, just about that experience, that could have added to the structure, but that's just, my personal opinion. And just have to look through these notes really fast. I think that's pretty much everything. Your vocal variety is always really great. I always admire how you have expression, intonation, eye contact. You look around the room, you stop and keep eye contact with others, and your comfort level is always very comfortable. So I think that's all of it. Okay.
Melissa, appreciate that. Keep it up, Maria. You're doing great. Doing great. Man, Maria, let us know what project was that on what level? I think it's level 5. Is it your last project or almost last project?
I wrote the speech and then I went to the pathways and it says electives, professional speaking, 20-minute speech. I'm not like it was yesterday. I wasn't prepared to give 20-minute speech and we don't have time. So I decided to have these speeches in preparation for next week's discussion.
Right. Okay, sounds good. Great job. Thanks, Melissa. I'm the VP of Education, so if any of our existing or new members have questions around Basecamp or pathways and even what those words mean and what the concepts are, I'll be staying always 5 to 10 minutes after the meeting, so you can come on up and get on our computers and help you navigate through that. And the idea is that there's little moments where you can fill in for roles like Toastmaster or Table Topics Master or Awe Counter or whatnot, but there's also preset speech slots, and you can just step into those, but also there's a pathway, there's a progressive path that you can go on to feel like you're working towards something. And there's 5 levels, and at the very end, you become certified in one of the pathway subject matter topics, and then there's 11 total. So you can continue on growing in different areas, all right? Okay, Tom. Tom has been with us since 2019. He may have a joke for us tonight, I'm not sure, but Tom, let's give it up for Tom Bartazin.
Thank you, Chris. I'm evaluating Sun Qua's speech tonight, How the Lion and Sheep Can Sleep Together. Nicely done. Well organized as usual, Sun Qua. I really liked how, as Chris mentioned, how you opened up with the question, right? How can the lion and sheep play and dance together? You weren't expecting an answer, but you were posing it to the audience to get us thinking. And then you followed up with, do you believe it? Sort of asking us to question, is this even possible? Body language. I like how when you talked about the lion, you started to crouch a little bit, like the lion was sitting there in wait for the sheep. And then the facial expressions you were giving and the hand gestures that really were starting to tell the story. And you just didn't stay at the podium. You sort of moved over here like you were hiding behind a tree or something. So it took us to the forest or the jungle, right? English as a second language. I know English is your second language, but I'm always so impressed with your confidence and poise. You get up here, no notes and no nervousness, at least doesn't appear to be any nerves. So I'm always very impressed. Now, your vocabulary, you've been a member for about 2 years now, and your vocabulary has broadened over this time. The words you're starting to use are a little more maybe difficult to pronounce that you may have shied away from 2 years ago, but now you're attempting to use them. And also your pronunciation, it's very deliberate, okay? So instead of just rambling through these words, you want to make sure the audience hears the word and you break it down and make it very understandable for us, even though English is your second language. And your pacing was very measured. I think it was perfect pacing. You're never rushed with your speeches. You always are just a nice, steady rhythm, which I really like. Call to action at the end, as Chris mentioned, time for people to stop and think to solve this problem now. So that's always a good way to end the speech. But one thing I would have said to improve your speech, if there would have been some way at the end, you could have taken us back to the forest with the lion and the sheep and sort of maybe tied it back to this idea of overconsumption or so forth. That would have been a nice way to sort of bookend the speech. But otherwise, well done, and look forward to your next speech. Thank you.
Thank you, Tom. Appreciate that. Great evaluation. Great job, Sunghwa. Your confidence is building with every meeting and every speech. And we always look forward to your speeches. I remember the speech about the elephant and the multiple blind men and then touching different things from different angles. And it's like different perspectives around the world. Really interesting metaphorical speeches you present us with. So thank you. Okay, I'm going to do a quick one for when. So great job overall. I'll give you some feedback initially. I love the opening. You seem very prepared. You seem ready to go. So I know you take your life and your speeches and your work seriously, but I think the whole point is don't take it too seriously, right? Focus on the journey and the experience and the enjoyment. I love how you're very kind of dramatic in the beginning, talking about the Olympic competition between China and Australia, and you had raised fists that were clenched. And I said, I love the drama. I love also you use words like it liberates me. Like you had some really good vocabulary that's very descriptive in there. This was your first speech. You remembered to use the word of the night, denigrate. And many people have used it tonight. So thank you for doing that and weaving that in there. I wrote prepared, prepared, prepared. Your hand gestures were nice. Sometimes you kind of held them, but most of the time they opened up and you used them very thoughtfully with your body language. You presented something that I think we all have. It's this profound dilemma on focusing so much on the end state and not so much on the journey. And I remember when I was in college, my grandma would be like, don't worry about the degree. That's just a piece of paper. The real experience and the essence is your journey every day going in, the collaboration, the projects, the speeches, whatever you're doing. Don't focus on the end state. Like in financial planning, we always focus on helping people to be retired. Okay, great. You're retired now. What are you going to do with the rest of your life? Oh, then they get depressed again. They don't know what they want to do with the rest of their life. So thank you for reminding us. That's a really important point. I think if I was going to pick on anything to improve, it would be eye contact. You gave us eye contact, and I want to give you a lot of props for not having any notes down here. But sometimes when you were thinking, I think you were looking in this general area here, right? It would be really powerful if you're able to kind of work through it and really kind of give those gazes here and there to your audience and say, I'm here. This is what I'm talking about. Let me remind you, right? Let's be in this together. So I love the ending. Think about, you talked about, we think sometimes it's a game, and you said, okay, great. If we're going to play this game and then we reach the very end and we missed out on the whole essence of the game, did we really play it well? And I think that was a really interesting idea that you presented to us. So really impressed with everyone's speeches tonight, really impressed with your speech tonight. A bright future in the Toastmasters group here in the future, and great job. Thank you. Okay, so let's land this plane. We have our functionary roles timer. Ryan, please come on up here, sir. Round of applause for Ryan.
I was your timer for tonight, and I'll keep it short so we can finish the meeting in time, but you guys all did very good. We were able to squeeze an extra speech in, which was very nice. You guys all stayed on time, so I won't have to denigrate anyone. Maria had you just over 7 minutes at 7:14. Seunghwa, 5:43, excellent job. Wen had you at 4:36, which I think is good for the icebreaker. I think the icebreaker is 4 to 6 minutes, so I think you're right on for that. Natalie, I had you at 2:13 for your table talk, so just a touch long. And then Ria, 53 seconds, which was a little bit short as well. And then Maria, 1:19, so great job on that. And then for our evaluations, everyone was pretty much exactly the same. Almost. Tom, I had you at 2:35. Chris, I had you at 2:49. And sorry, Melissa, I had you at 2:45. And so great job, everyone.
All right, thank you, Ryan. Appreciate that. Next up, our all counter, Ray. How do we do with our filler words? Ray.
All right, thank you, guys. It's going to sound like I'm going to denigrate the role of the all counter. This is the hardest role for me, but because I feel like I'm coming up here and criticizing you guys, but you all did such a great job. I just want to say those were fantastic speeches, great table topics, awesome icebreaker. So thank you. Tonight was great. Chris, you spoke more than anybody. So pretty much to perfection. I had 3 ums and 2 so's. Maria, yeah, they're there. Maria, uhs and ums are your crutch. You had 5+ on each of those. So that's what I'd like you to work on, is the uhs and the ums. And you said and several times. So something to work on. Seunghwa, I was so intrigued by your speech. So again, I'm denigrating the position. I wasn't paying attention to my job. I was just kind of listening to your speech. And so when I started listening, I caught 1 so, but that was it. So great job. Win-win, fantastic. I only caught 1 so. That was a really great speech. VJ, I had 1 and 3 so's. Good job. Natalie, awesome no, that was the table topic. Great story. I had 2 uhs and 5 ums for you. And Melissa, 2 uhs, 1 and 3 so's. Great evaluation. This position is so hard. Tom, great evaluation. We had 4 uhs and 3 ums from you, surprisingly. Ryan, great job with the timer roll. We had 5+ ums for you. Yeah, but otherwise, great job. Thank you, guys.
Thank you, Ray. Appreciate that. Ray, show us what you have. It's actually a chart for the and all counter.
Yeah, you
It's
guys haven't
pretty
seen
neat.
this?
I love that. So post that to Trello when you get a chance, the PDF version.
Yeah.
It's a very organized way to do that.
Yeah.
And Ray is so detail oriented. Look at he has a journal there. He takes copious notes
I try.
about your life and the club, and you retain everything and you just get better and better. So thank you. Thanks for putting the work in. Appreciate that. Grammarian Chirag. Come on up, Chirag.
Thank you. So this has been one of the least denigrating meeting that I've been to. So because lots of us used the word denigrate. So when used once, Vijay once, Melissa once, Ryan once, and then Ray used it twice. So great job. All right, so I'll move on to the grammar. Maria, very catchy title. Start wearing purple. That was pretty catchy. I didn't know what it meant, but then your speech helped kind of explain that. A lot of good phrases. Alchemy with the world. That was pretty interesting. I haven't heard, but that I looked it up and I was like, oh, okay, there is something like that. So bringing them together in synthesis. Illusion of security. That was one of my favorite ones. There was one where you said to keep calm. I think when you talked about family dinner. But I think the correct use is to keep the peace, or I don't think to keep calm is the right use of grammar. And then your pronunciation for indecisive was indecisive. And I think yeah. So, I mean, I'm not expert by any means, but just want to share. And then you ended with the complexity of human experience. That was pretty powerful. So thank you for that. Sankwa, you started off your speech with a question, which was really kind of captured the audience. You said, may I ask a question? And that was pretty good. You used King in the Forest, which was, capturing the power of a lion. So that was good use of words. One correction I would say is you said at some point, lion had eaten more animal. I think that was a better way to say it, I think, in the English language, but I think still a great job. One other thing I liked was you said psychological versus biological. It was a good comparison to kind of share what you were trying to say. So that was great. All right, moving to when. Great icebreaker when. You use lots of powerful phrases. Air smells like watermelon. That's the first time I've heard it, but it was pretty good. Kind of captured the mood. Patriotism filled me. Hold my breath. Personal disaster. A lot of good phrases. You used denigrate, obviously, that was good. And then epiphany came to me. That was good use of words. And then table topics. Natalie, there was one phrase, like one sentence where you use, I felt challenging as well. I think I felt challenged instead of challenging. And then Ria, I really liked one of the phrases you used, which was fear was never bigger than I imagined. That was really powerful. So thank you for using that. So yeah, that's it.
Great job, Sharad. Very detailed. Appreciate that. Lots of pointers. So we cheer each other on, but we get real feedback that can help us in the future. And that when we, apply it, it just makes us smoother and more polished here and outside the club. Okay, General Evaluator Arun, take us home, please.
Hopefully this is not where we denigrate all of the Toastmaster. So I really like Maria started with saying this is the criteria to evaluate the speech on. I think that's one thing we want to make sure that speakers also articulate what's the level of the speech and what's the criteria for evaluation to focus on. It's good that we stuck to time, even though we had a packed agenda. And we also had a common themes around most of the speech and even the table topics where there was a focus on mindset, how we can interpret a situation and how we can even reflect on what are the cases where a mindset change could help us tackle a situation. And the evaluations were to the point and with a good focus on what are the areas to work on, right? Especially in terms of how we can make the conclusions more powerful or how we can rephrase some of the, how we can do a better eye contact in some of the areas as well. So overall, a great topic as well. Thanks.
Short and sweet. Thank you. I appreciate that. All right, it's been an honor being your Toastmaster. Hopefully this encourages all of you to get up here, sign up for any role you want, even Toastmaster. It's a lot of fun. Tom will present and prepare the agenda, and we will help you go with the flow. Every meeting's pretty similar, but you're going to put your own spin and personality on each one. So thank you for a great meeting tonight. I'm going to hand it off to Alexia to close us out, and I'm going to stay after for 5 to 10 minutes to answer any questions around Basecamp pathways. And I will be looking at the winner of table topics now, and letting us all know before the end of the meeting. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, Chris. So we'll be waiting for the results of this competition.
I'll do right now.
Okay, allow me to, yeah, we can conclude this meeting. Thank you for joining online, coming personally. You're welcome. Don't judge us too hard. Don't denigrate us too much. A little bit is all right. Yeah, welcome. And Amber, you're back. That's great. Good to see you. Yeah, just I believe face-to-face is the best option to practice speeches, to see emotion, right? To connect to the audience, to prove yourself, to try yourself, and to experiment with yourself. So we encourage, actually, Chris mentions it in every meeting, we encourage you to join these topics, to take, just speak. That's basically whatever you want. You can follow the path on Toastmasters. You can bring your own topic. You can build whatever you want here. So overall, just a framework, and you can build on your own whatever you need for your personal, professional, or business life. So, and the most exciting moment, Chris.
The first time this has ever happened in the club. There's unanimous vote. Unanimous. All 12 votes that were cast went to Natalie. So great job. Something resonated tonight. So congratulations, Natalie. Welcome to the club. You're an official member, and let's close it out. Have a great week, everyone.
And